Alright folks, so today we're starting on bumpers, mainly the rear because I don't got to do anything fancy to mount the rear. The only thing we'll have to do is we'll have to drop the bolts back out to mount the skid plate when it gets here. Rough Stuff frame stiffeners are on their way, and probably going to order the rear axle truss today. Right now, for the lift kit I decided I'm just going to order the Rev Country 4.5 full spring rear, just the entire radius arm kit. Get this thing together and going, and then maybe like next summer we'll throw the Rusty's 4-link in it or the Barnes 3-link, something like that. Starting off with the rear bumper. I'm trying to do this shit quick so I can get the damn things built, but I'm gonna do pretty much the bare minimum today because these chunks are both rusted out over here, and I'm gonna cut all that out. I'm gonna plate it up, and then I'll just build the bumper accordingly. So it'll probably still be about that low, but it's gonna be all steel at that point. So if I drop off something, I hit the skid plate or the rear bumper and nothing else. Yesterday, I got the exhaust built. Just to remove the cat from it all, because this is an off-road vehicle. It's not going to be on the road hardly ever. So I took a chance in ordering these. They're a 1/4-inch piece. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. All they do is it's the same thing as the nut plates that go in the Jeep, but they're a bumper mount too, but it's all 1/4-inch. And when I say I took a chance in ordering them, I kept seeing reviews on them that they like forgot to weld all this shit, but they're cheap enough that I couldn't justify building my own over just buying these, and worst case I'd have to weld them. That being said, they bolt. I think they're supposed to bolt into, obviously I paid a whole lot of attention in this, supposed to bolt in to the body and then bolt the bumper to it, so it'll be like through bolts the way I understand it, and then tie into the frame like that as well. I am going to cheat a little bit. I really hope you can see my face. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and when I do the frame stiffeners in the rear, I'm going to basically add on to them and punch through and make sure that they tie into these super stiff, so then the rear bumper is not only mounted a little over a foot in, it's mounted to the front bumper through all the frame stiffeners. So that is the plan for the day. First things first, I'm going to pull out this nut strip. I don't think that side has one, but I'm going to pull this nut strip out, and then I'm going to cut the holes to the bumper or the frame bigger. Just saws all those fuckers out because they don't need to look good. Slide these in there, make sure they look good. Wife's grabbing me grade 8 bolts while she's at work, so I'm going to bolt it in with grade 5 for now, and then we'll grade 8 it before we do anything fancy. But then I will break open the box with the rear bumpers in it once these are mounted, and we'll start looking at all the pieces that come with it. I did get a, I'll grab it real quick. I picked up a Kurt receiver because the one it came with looked like it was pretty shallow, and I want to be able to gusset this a little bit more if this is going to be a recovery rig. I don't want to half-ass any of this, so just a nice cheap piece. Like I said in a previous video, the last video, I just ordered the DIY bumpers, so they're like I think I spent like $270 on them. I spent like $70 on those and like $20 on this, so I'm like super cost effective when it comes to like that price versus the price of me building the bumper, because I do want this one removable, unlike the one on the Purple XJ. That one was just I had to fix all of it because all this shit was rusted out on there. So rather than trying to do anything else like making it mount or removable, I just wanted to make it part of the Jeep. So this one I want it removable in case in the future I want to put a tire carrier or something on it. So cheap option to get bumpers on this thing for now, and they're cheap enough that I'm not like out a shit ton of money. So I'm out like $400 for bumpers, and the front one's a winch bumper, but I'll show all that to you when I get there. So I'm going to cut this out, and and then I'll be back. Okay, so here's the start of what we got so far for the rear. I'm gonna change up how they want these done because I want it to kind of wing up. These are supposed to be at an angle, like a 40-degree angle, and I think it's gonna look weird, so I'm probably gonna cut this off, bend up that outside, that ear that comes off the bottom, and then tuck it all in. But yeah, here it is. Knock that out with the receiver in. This is where the D-rings go. I'll get her all finished welded. And then we'll come over here to the back of the heap. After a long, awful fight, had to pull the leaf spring hanger bolts out. But got each side pounded in. This side took a hammer, that side didn't. All the bolts are in. These ones are loose. Well, they're all loose. They're just hand tight. But those are all in. You can get this thing finished off and we'll have a rear bumper on the old girl. So I'll get back in touch when the bumper's put together and before I finish weld it. And then we'll get on the front. As you see, the sun's going down, so this video will be finished really at a later date. But we're getting there. Okay, folks, obviously it's a new day. It's a new week. It's Saturday after Thanksgiving. Got the puppies in the Jeep out here. It's today is burning this bumper in. It's not gonna look awesome, you know, my garbage outside welds, but I'm gonna burn all this stuff in, easy them out just a touch, and then we'll get the front bumper put together. So I've yet to decide what I'm gonna do down here because I don't like the way it looked with the factory, or the way the bumper came. I like how it tapers up a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, it's super bright out here. My welding hood keeps falling down because it's junk, but I'll get this one finished welded and we'll jump on to the next one. So if you want to give a little update. Alright, so a lot of things I've been seeing, especially in like Amazon comments and shit. Obviously, we're doing DIY bumpers. Pretty popular as far as I've seen. I mean, this is the second one I've built. I built one for a buddy of mine when I was in the Army. So the front bumper is the same. I never built the rears, so that's kind of a little bit of a learning process, but it's metal and a welder, so it's pretty simple. What I keep seeing though is, are these bumpers worth it? Yeah, I think that's a little controversial because, like, this application, it's an off-road toy. It's not going to be super psycho rock crawling. It's just going to be, you know, something I can go out and have fun with. So a little bit of extra overhang on the front for the winch isn't going to hurt like it would on my purple Jeep. Purple Jeep is going to be a full-on rock crawler, so I don't want any giant bumpers affecting my approach and departure angles and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely like case by case basis. As for this, I absolutely think it's worth it. Like I said, like $270, $80, $20 in bolts, and then a $20 receiver, and that's optional, just like these are. If you're not like guaranteed going to be doing any kind of off-road recovery or anything with it, no reason that you have to tie it into your frame and all these other things. Sorry, I'm just going crazy. For the price point of the bumpers, there's no cheaper way to do it as long as you can weld. If you got a paceman to weld this shit, yeah, it's gonna get spendy. But they're made out of like 3/16. They're pretty heavy duty. That one that I've already got put together, I'm finished welding it. Like you saw in the last one, I've got like 8 more inches of weld to do, and it'll be done. And my welder dutied, as they always do. But yeah, that being said, like, I don't think you can go wrong with the DIY bumpers like this unless you're doing like stuff that needs specialty bumpers. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna reinforce the rear with 1/4 inch. Just little triangle gussets throughout the back of it just to give it a little more rigidity because I want to do recoveries with it, and I am like guaranteed to do them with it because I already do it with my half ton. But as long as you're willing to take the time and do them right, I don't see why you can't do them. Keep hearing weird noises. I just invested in a pair of these. I spent like $11 on these ones at Harbor Freight. And I'm still going to cheat a little bit because I have trailers sitting here. If you're not going to be able to weld them, don't even do this step because I broke like 9 out of 10 of these that I've bent. Just put a framing square on it, or a speed square on it, square them back up, tack them back together, tack the whole bumper together, and then start finish welding it so you don't screw anything up. Literally all you have to do. Then you break them off. Like I said, get a speed square real quick, 90 that back up, tack it, bend the other side. As long as you follow the directions, super simple. So, but I just wanted to go over that a little bit with you. See, like I said, whether they're worth it is fully dependent on your build, you, what you're doing, and the money aspect. If you want to go out and just buy ARB bumpers, good for you. My wallet isn't built like that, but I'll get this one finished welded. Just felt like I should show you guys that. And then before we reinforce it, I'm probably going to go to the shop where I have, heat and stuff. That's where we're going to do all the grinding and whatnot instead of me trying to stand out here and freeze and grind it. So, yeah, that being said, we'll get back at it. Just wanted to give a little tidbit on whether these are worth it for you or not. Alright, so what you've seen in this little time lapse here that took a minute, but took me 33 minutes, is I'm just, building the bumper wings. The welds look gross because I ran out of gas yesterday and I'm using flux. I kind of forgot how potent flux is. It's dirty as shit, but it's welding really good, so I might just end up finish welding this with flux. We'll see. Rear bumper is done. Aside from it's gonna get some gusseting, and I gotta weld the brackets on, but I gotta place them back here, align it. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'll just show you that when it's done. But I just wanted to get in here, give a little update. The bumper wings, the winch plate, So I'm going to set it all right here now. I'm going to tack the wings on. I'll put the Fairlead and front piece on. Maybe build a hoop for it. We'll see. I don't know yet, but yeah, here it is. It's a bumper. It's just a bumper. So we'll get this feller put in here and then we'll get back at her. Well, not really put it in here. You'll see me time lapse putting this thing together. How's that sound? All right, whatever. Bye. Okay, so here's the front bumper. I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna finish weld it in most places. And I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'll get the bumper tabs welded on the rear. Then I'll chime back in and I'll show you guys what it all looks like. I'm not gonna mount them today because I got a bunch of grinding and painting to do on them, but that's a little bit beside the point today. It's not perfect, kind of looks like shit in some places, but I don't really care because I'm gonna beat the brakes off of it, so. I'm gonna get her welded up, get some D-rings put in it, and I'll get back with you. All right, folks. Got both bumpers done aside from being ground and painted, and like I said, I'm gonna reinforce the rear. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do the edges of the rear, but they're both welded. They're ready to go. Here's the rear. I guess the rear still has some welding. I gotta weld in everything down here a little bit better. I ran out of gas yesterday, so I'm flux coring it, and I really don't want to deal with flux anymore. Here's what they turned out like. Here's the rear. Now, the kit comes with a receiver that's flush. I wanted it to stick out. Here is the front. I flux cored this whole thing. It actually turned out really good, got really good penetration, so I'm not too upset about it. Not a whole lot that goes into the front. It's just some wings with a winch mount and some D-rings. So here are the bumpers. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hopefully in the next video we're mounting the rear. Can't mount the front yet because I'm still waiting for my frame stiffeners to get here, but lift kit is on its way. It'll be here this week, so get ready to put this grill in the air. Hope you guys like this video. Kind of, in my opinion, yeah, I think the DIY bumpers are definitely worth the money, especially if you have an application like this. But like I said, also it's definitely per application is how you should decide what bumper you buy. So, like I said, next video we'll have these things mounted, and we'll show you what they look like in the Jeep. The front is gonna get a hoop though, I think, some kind of stinger. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'm just repeating myself now. So, thanks for tuning in to Legendary Fab. Have a good one.